Hey guys, how's it going? I know it's been a little while since I've done one, but I'm back because I am really enjoying these. It's just finding out what kind of writing them is getting kind of difficult. So today I'm kind of going to talk a little bit more about British culture more than anything, I think, rather than just listing off random words. One thing I am just going to mention though is I don't really use it very much, but if you do come to England, one thing you're definitely gonna hear is someone's gonna use the phrase "t," and it's an accent. It's very Yorkshire, but it means the. So you're going, when it's in Lancashire, they generally just ignore the word "the" entirely, and you're most likely gonna hear people say they're going town on buzz, rather than going to town on the bus. They'll say going town on buzz. But in Yorkshire, they just make it "t," going to town. Yeah, something like that. I'm no good at accents. I'm going to shops. "T." Basically, like, the further north you get, the word "the" just like disappears. There's somewhere in the middle where we just goes, right, see you later, I'm not needed up there. You will hear that all the time, and it can get like quite annoying, but overall you just kind of get used to it. And I don't hear it every day, but there are a lot of people who use it. So yeah, we have, from kind of stuff I've gathered, we have a very different sense of humour. We have quite a dark, satirical, very, very sarcastic sense of humour. Because I know overall you've got quite a lot of rude comedians, but like, it's very definitely a British thing. We go to a comedy show, we go and see a stand-up comedian, and we damn well want to be insulted. We want to come out of that offended. Which, from what we've heard again of like your culture, you're not. I guess like the view is that you're just really sensitive, which obviously again not true. Just some of you, just the same it will be here. But yeah, I really recommend kind of, for those of you who haven't, watching some of our like BBC kind of shows. I mean, Black Books. It's a really good comedy show. It's hilarious. Trying to think what else there is. The It Crowd. I think that's Channel 4. All amazing, And there's like the classics, Monty Python, and all that stuff. That sort of gives you a really good idea of British humour. One thing we do, which I've only really realised this must be like a purely like British thing until recently, is like if you're in like a not necessarily a posh restaurant, but if you're in like a cafe, if you're in like a cafeteria, like at school for instance, you're having lunch at school, and if someone drops a plate, everyone, like the entire room, will like applaud and cheer. I don't know why we do it, but we just do. Everyone goes "way" because someone's dropped a plate. And I thought this was maybe just more of a younger generation thing, but my dad has assured me that colleagues of his also do the same. But I only recently found out that that's not something you do. Because I went to see Russell Howard recently, and he was over in America, and he was in a bar, and some guy like dropped his pint and got it all over him. And Russell Howard like cheered, and everyone else looking at him like, that's a bit harsh, like, he's got beer all over him, why are you cheering? The poor guy, he's just lost his pint and got to buy another one now. Whereas we all just laugh. We are overall incredibly polite, like painfully polite, nearly on Canada's standard. But we're at the point where we're so polite it's kind of rude. I mean, we don't, but we're real with our politeness. because we all, like, there's a lot of thoughts about how in America, you know, you'll go, have a nice day, and you're just like, you don't actually wish them a bad day. You don't necessarily wish them a bad day, but you don't necessarily wish them a good day either. And it's just like, so it's all just a bit like, bit fake for us, even though I've actually started saying it myself to a cashier. But that's because I genuinely want them to have a nice day, because they've been nice to me. But yeah, so it's to a lot of people it's quite irritating, because it just like, well, it's not real, like, you know, it's just fake. You know, don't say it if you don't mean it. But we're very polite, and we do kind of look down on people who don't say thank you. You know, like, but it's kind of the point where if someone walks into us in the street, you know, when you like bump past each other, even if it's their fault, you apologise. Like, I do it all the time, and I'm going, why should I apologise? That guy bumped into me, but I'm going, oh, I'm sorry, mate. But it also gets to the point where, you know, you let someone out and they say thank you. You kind of say like thank you, you know, you wave your hand up to say thank you back to them. You kind of saying thank you for my thank you. And sometimes you can get quite upset if you don't get that thank you for your thank you. Like, if you're the driver that's been let out and you said thank you, if they've not like waved back at you, that can be quite upsetting sometimes, because that's how pathetic we can be. But, you know, please and thank yous is a big thing. I mean, it's, again, not everyone, but, you know, I was just brought up where it's just a normal thing. I don't think about whether I say it, I just do. You know, please, thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry, whatever. Like, I don't need to really think about it, but for some people it can be difficult, but they are kind of looked down on a bit because it's what you should do. And the way you know a Brit is really pissed off is when they start tutting. It's like, we don't get angry, we don't express our anger in public, really. Very, very rarely, unless we've had a few drinks, that's when we get angry. But you'll see, for instance, I'm also going to bring in our queuing kit. We do love a good queue. I mean, we queue properly. We do end up just creating queues, because, you know, you think someone stood there, they're vaguely near the tills, so you go and queue behind them, and you can form this massive queue before the person at the front turns around and realises that, oh, they formed a queue and they're not actually in the queue. But if, for instance, someone tried to push into the queue, not many people would say anything. Some would, not going to get you wrong, mainly old women. But you'll know you've upset someone when they go, we tut, that is our, like, that's not disapproval, that is pure hatred. If we're tutting at you, we abhor you. As soon as you see a Brit tut, that's it, we're gone. We've seen red at that point in order to get there. But despite kind of how polite we kind of are, we're quite cold at the same time with it. We have our own little bubble, and we don't like people getting close to that bubble. It's, you know, like, we would rather stand on a bus or a train than sit next to a stranger. And you know, when you got like the 3 seats like facing each other, we kind of sit zigzagged so we're not looking directly at someone, because we just can't do it. Like, unless it's absolutely crammed or you have to sit down, we won't. We just leave it, because we just can't stand the idea. It's like, it's invading our personal space. It can be quite uncomfortable. We all hate it when there's like a spare seat, like a spare 2 seats in the bus, and someone comes and sits next to you. Like, everyone on that bus is looking at that person like they're the weirdest person alive. It's crazy. It's unheard of. I'm actually feeling kind of ill just thinking about it. That's how unsettling it is when that happens. Like, but there's a spare seat 2 seats over there. Why would you come and sit next to me? But unfortunately it does happen, which to us is just like a massive deal. We don't necessarily talk to each other. We tend to see like being on public transport as me time. You know, we sit there with the headphones in, we read the book, read the newspaper, we sit and stare out the window. But every now and then you do get a few people who have a chat, and generally have a really nice little chat. When I used to get the bus home from school, public bus, I was always the one that the old women used to talk to. And I actually really enjoyed it because they were so sweet, and they just obviously needed someone to talk to. And, you know, they were so nice, and I had a really nice little chat with them, and it just really perked me up because going to school was like the longest day for me. But it just really woke me up a bit. It was nice. But not everybody likes that. A lot of people just don't really respond. In fact, I've got a friend who, whenever possible, she tries to strike up a conversation with someone, and she said she was on a train, and it was like 4 seats, 2 seats facing each other on a table seat basically, and and rather than sitting, you know, so the woman was sat on the on the window seat. Normally you'd sit on the other side on the aisle seat, but she thought no, and my friend sat in the other window seat opposite her and looked at her and smiled, and hoping that she might smile back and they could say, morning, you know, how's it going, you know, just try and strike up some conversation, you know, be nice to someone. But this woman just gave her a really weird look and just like kept her eyes down from then on. That never looked at her again. But overall we keep ourselves to ourselves. But there are a few of us who do really like having a chat with strangers. I love it. But at the same time, I don't want a complete stranger just to come and sit next to me if there's no need for it. I have got one other little thing to mention as well, like, because I've been to America a couple times really. Remember the first time I went to New York when I was 14 and we went to the Cheesecake Factory. It's the first thing we did, and I ordered a small scampi and fries, and my god, like, that portion size was huge, and that's a small. I did not want to think what like a large or a regular would have looked like. It was crazy. Like, don't expect portion sizes like that here. I mean, there are some places where it is huge. Like, I went out for lunch not long ago with one of my really close friends, and we had I had like soup with a couple of really thick slices of bread with it, and then for my starter, and then after that I had half a roast chicken, a Yorkshire pudding literally this size, with like broccoli and like carrots and swede, and it was just, and I ate all of it, and it was like I literally didn't know how to start eating it because it just took up the entire plate. But for us, that is a real whoa, that is huge. Whereas I get the feeling in some restaurants in America, you just look at that and go, huh, fair enough. Like, didn't think it would be a regular sized meal. But no, we don't have as larger portions as you, but we do have better chocolate. It has to be said, we do have better chocolate, because both of our countries have serious obesity problems, but I think we all have our own our different cultural reasons behind that. You know, your fast food and large portion culture, and we're just lazy with better chocolate, but yeah. So I'm going to finish off with an idea my friend Laura, hi Laura, suggested. She suggested that we do like a word or phrase of the day, and then you guys contact me and let me know what you think it is, and I will reveal the answer in the next video and give a shout out to anyone who's right. So today's word or phrase of the day is 4x4, or like or kind of slightly more slang, you'd maybe hear it's 4x4. So if you let me know what you think 4x4 or 4x4 means, just drop me a message, let me see, and I'll get back to you again. So I'll see you later, guys. Bye.